Keen to respond on behalf of the authorities is the government spokesman Gospel Kazako, and Malawi was the underdog coming into this game, and the results are still at this moment. Sir, thank you very much for joining us. Good evening to you. The scores are still 0-0 as we speak, and so we don't yet know whether the Flames will prevail over the Lions in the last few minutes. But what do you make of those comments that we heard from some of your compatriots, sir?
You have to know that we have a culture here. We have a way of doing what we do. And I think those comments are very unfortunate. And we think that we are moving in the right direction.
However, as you heard some of them say, some said, yes, we can understand the intention. The intention may be good, but that when you have so many priorities such as economic hardship, one gentleman said, he said, no drugs in hospitals, food shortages, not enough agricultural resources. And he said that this money could be used to alleviate those kind of problems. Another Malawian you heard said that if you're playing for your country, that in itself, especially when you're paid as a player, should be enough. You shouldn't get those bonuses. What do you make of that?
We accept we are poor, yes, but we are not poor to an extent that we cannot exchange gifts, or we cannot give gifts. In our culture, we give gifts. It could be animals, it could be land, it could be money. And the thinking that this is wrong because we have problems, I think that's very retrogressive. You might wish to know that it's not just the President Lazarus Chakwera that has pledged the, things of value. You're looking at so many Malawians, so many business Malawians. Some are giving eggs, some are giving animals, some are giving land. So it's actually a culture. I think this story somehow, to me, is smelling some fragrance of imperialism of some nature, because these things happen in America. It happens in Britain. There, you do these things in one way or the other. So this is how we do things. Accept that this is how we do things, and I think there is a cultural clash here.
Well, I think not, because I think there are many African countries where you see where the same thing is done. People have been pledged cars. I believe it's in Guinea that even they were told that do right by your nation, or you might have to give some of the money that was used back. I mean, it's not that we're saying it's unique to Malawi, but we are asking why the president felt it necessary to give a monetary reward when they are being paid and when there are so many crises within the nation. And perhaps a question that some of our listeners are also interested in is where the money will come from. I mean, you've already talked about some of the private donors giving eggs and some such, but is this going to be a personal token from the president, or it's coming from the public coffers, I may ask?
I think that is not here nor there. This is Malawi money happening in Malawi, going to Malawians. And I think, as I said, this is not smelling good at all, because what you are saying basically is to say you are poor and you cannot give each other gifts. You're saying you are poor, then you can't motivate each other. You're poor, then you cannot do anything. I think we don't have to be looking at that way.
I think you heard it's not imperialist, if I may say, sir.
In our culture, we motivate each other. We give gifts during funerals. We give gifts during weddings, during engagements. We have a culture here. And
I don't think anybody is challenging that, sir. I'm from Nigeria, but I think the question here, sir, is not a case of whether or not gifts are given as part of one's culture. It is more the fact that you heard from your own compatriots, your own citizens, saying they don't see why this money is being paid to people who are already representing the country and being paid for it when there are priorities that can be paid for from the national coffers. So this has nothing to do with imperialism. This is from your own people asking these questions.
There are also millions of our people who are agreeing with what the president has done. What you have done is just to pick a few that would actually side with your way of thinking, the way of how you want things done. We have millions here. I would encourage you to go on your website or on your site or your Facebook page and see the many comments that Malawians have made supporting the president, that he has motivated his players.
Yes, and indeed, there are also those who would say, but why not motivate them before they got to Cameroon? Was there no way that prior to this tournament, prior to the Cameroon campaign, I believe in November there was another fundraiser. Could the money not have been made available during the preparations as an incentive, rather than just saying, if you win, we will give you an extra bonus?
Who is giving these instructions? It looks like you are giving us instructions so that we follow the way you want things to be done.
But you heard your own compatriots saying it, sir.
No. Very few compatriots, the ones that you're talking about, just a handful. I have told you that we have millions here. If you want to be balanced and if you want to be fair, certainly you'll be overwhelmed. There are millions of Malawians that are supporting what the president has done. And you can see what our players are doing right now on the pitch. You know, Senegal is a very big team, but we've managed to hold them. And just now we have just been robbed a penalty. Just now we have just been robbed a penalty. You know, we are supposed to win this game. So I don't think that we'll be able to accept this as wrong. We think we are right.
I think so many of us are cheering, but
there's some general Afrophobia coming from that side. That when
I doubt it very much. Mr. Kazako, you'll see many of us here are actually cheering on the Flames as the underdog. And I think you'll see if you go to our Facebook page, the very balanced comments. But thank you very much for joining us as spokesperson for Malawi's government. And that's the spokesperson, Gospel Kazako there.